Hello there crocheters, welcome to today's tutorial. So today I'm going to be making this daisy wavy bucket hat. This is size small, but you can still make it in a bigger size and in a kid size. I'm going to show you how you can make it in any size that you want. Feel free to ask any question and feel free to click on that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So the yarn you're going to need is 3 balls of different colored yarn. For the daisy you're going to need white and yellow. This is mustard yellow and this is pure white. And for the outer part of it you can use beige or brown or maroon. So I'll be using beige. This is beige, and then this is pure white, and this is mustard yellow. So the thickness of the yarn I'm using a lightweight yarn, so I'll be doing a double strand so that it becomes a thickness that is similar to a medium weight yarn. So you can use a medium weight yarn. The hook I'm using is a 3.5mm hook. I'll be using a tape measure so that if you're using a thicker yarn or a bigger hook, you can still work according to the sizing. So the first thing you're going to do, we're going to work on the top part of the bucket hat, and then we'll work on the granny square, and then we'll work on the brim. So to work on the top part of the hat, you're going to take your yarn. So for me, I'm using a double strand. You're going to make a granny square. If you find it hard to make a granny square, you can always chain 4 and then you slip stitch on the first chain. If you don't know how to make a granny square, I have a really simple tutorial on that. So when you make your fingers like this, you're just going to cross it from the back like that, and you make an X, and then you pull it from behind like that, pull it up, and then you'll see this bit. This is where you'll insert your hook, and then you can turn it on that side, and then you're going to chain 3. After chaining 3, that is going to count as your first double crochet. You're going to make 11 more double crochets to give you a total of 12 double crochets inside the magic circle. So for a double crochet, you yarn over once. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12. After the 12 double crochets, you're going to pull your tail, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3. You're going to chain 3 again. After chaining 3, you're going to increase in every stitch, so you have 2 double crochets in every stitch. So this is our first double crochet. So down on that same stitch, you're going to add another double crochet to make it 2. So increase in every stitch. So you're going to have a total of 24 stitches. So the 12 increases, you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3, and then you're going to chain 3 again. On the next row, you're going to you make 1 single crochet on the first stitch, then you increase on the next one. 1 single crochet, increase, not single crochet, double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, increase. So you do a double crochet on 1 stitch and an increase on the next one. So if your chain 3 is a double crochet, is considered as a stitch, so that is going to cover the first stitch. So on the next one, you're going to increase. In the next one, we do a double crochet. On the next one, we do an increase. So like that until the very end. So but at the end of this, you're going to have a total of 36 stitches. And then you're going to finish with an increase. Make sure that your last stitch is going to be an increase. And then you again slip stitch. After that, chain 3 again. So row 4, we are going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you do an increase. So you do a double crochet again, and then an increase. So that is just going to be the pattern for that. Then for this row 2, we're also going to finish with an increase. And then you're going to slip stitch, chain 3 again. Now on the 5th row, we're going to do 3 double crochets, and then you do an increase. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you do an increase. You do 1, 2, and then the 3rd double crochet, and then you do an increase. So you're going to do that, and by the end of this row, you're going to have a total of 60 double crochets. So after this is 1, 2, 3, 4. After the 5th row, you're already getting to between 6 and 6.5 inches in diameter. You can stop there. Let's say you're using a thicker yarn, and by the time you're done with the row 4 or 5, you're already at 6 to 6.5 inches. You can stop at that. So me, I'm still at 5 inches. That's why I'm still going to continue. So we're going to chain 3 again. Okay, please make sure you really listen to that, because at times you might use the same pattern, but you're using a thicker yarn and a bigger hook, and the heart is going to be really big. So please make sure you take keen interest in those measurements. So if you're even at times when you get to row 3, you find that you're already at 5.5, you can just do one row without any increase. So after this, the next row, you're going to do 4 double crochets, and then you do an increase. 3 and 4. After 4 double crochets, you do an increase. Again, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we do an increase. So after finishing my 6th row, it measures 6 inches. So I'm going to do 1 extra row without any increases. So the last row that I'm doing, I'm going to do it without any increases. So I'm going to chain 3 again and just do double crochets without any increase. So if you're using more thinner yarn or even a thick yarn, make sure your hat measures, the top brim measures between 6 to, if it goes so much, it will be between 6 to 7 inches for adult size. You can check other sizes for the top brim if you're doing kids hat or newborn hats. Yeah. When you're done with the last double crochet, you're just going to slip stitch, and then you can just leave it at that because we are coming to work on the squares, and then we just slip stitch the squares all around. For the squares, this is a sample of the square. This squares measures 4 inches. If you're using a 4mm hook or with a medium weight yarn, you might find a square measures 5 inches. So how you're going to determine how many squares you're going to need for your hat is you're going to take your head circumference. So like mine, it's 22 inches, but you cannot make your hat at 22 inches because it will be just there, like it won't like fit well on your head. So I'm going to make it for 20 inches. So for me to get 20 inches, if I'm using a square that is 4 inches wide, I'll need 5 of these squares. If I'm using a square that is 5 inches wide, I'll need 4 of these squares. So take your head circumference minus an inch or 2, then make one square first, and then determine how many of these squares will I need to fit that amount of circumference. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's so easy. If you just follow the instructions, you're just going to get it right. So how we're going to make our square is, let me place this one. We're going to first take the yellow yarn. When you take the yellow yarn, you're going to make a magic ring, the same way we did when we were starting the hat. You're going to chain 3. We're going to make 12 double crochets inside the magic circle. If your chain 3 is a stitch, you're going to place 11 double crochets inside the magic circle. You can be pulling the tail. So after I have 12 double crochets, I'm going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3. chain 1 and cut your yarn. Depending on how you usually work your yarn ends, if you use a darning needle, take your darning needle and then just move it all around. If you tie knots the way I do, you're just going to use the tool. Don't do it so tightly. Tie a knot 3 times. Cut. You're now going to take the white yarn, insert your hook on one of the stitches, pull up a loop, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. After chaining 4, you're going to do 2 more stitches inside the same stitch. So you're going to do a treble crochet, but then you're not going to finish it. So yarn over twice. For a treble crochet, you now yarn over twice. Insert your hook in the same stitch as the chain 4. Pull through 2 and then pull through 2 again. Now you're left with 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over twice again. Insert your hook in the same space. Pull up a loop and pull through 2 and pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops. You're going to pull through all 3 and then you're going to chain 2. On the next stitch, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have a set of 3 again. So yarn over twice. Insert your hook in the next stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 2. You're left with 2 loops. Yarn over twice again. Pull through 2 and pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops. Yarn over again. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Now you have 4 loops. You're going to pull through all 4 and then you chain 2. So it's just a set of 3 treble crochets together, 3 treble crochets together with a chain 2. Yarn over twice again. Insert in the next stitch. So 3 treble crochets together. Pull through all 4 and then you chain 2. So 3 treble crochets together separated by a chain 2 until the very end. You should have 12 sets of 3 treble crochets together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to do the last one. Chain 2 and you slip stitch. Chain 1 and you cut your yarn. You're going to tie your ends in your own preferred way. Now you're going to take your beige yarn and make a slip knot, and then you're going to insert your hook on one of the chain 2 spaces. When you get there, you're going to slip stitch and then you chain 3. Now you're going to work with double crochets. You're going to do 3 double crochets in every chain space, and then you're also going to work on the corners. So those are 3 double crochets. So we do 3 double crochets and then we do a corner. So there's a set of 2 double crochets in between every corner. So because this is going to be a corner, so we've done half of the first corner there. So we're going to do the 2 sets of double crochets in between. So we're going to do 3 double crochets in the next chain space. We don't do any chains. And then 3 double crochets in the next chain space again. Now you're going to work on the next corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets in the same space. That's a corner. And then we do another 2 sets of 3 double crochets. So in the next space we do 3 double crochets, in the next space we do 3 double crochets again, and then in the next space we do a corner. Three double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same space. After that again we do 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, we do a corner, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then we'll complete this corner. Now when you get to the first corner, you're going to do 3 double crochets in that same space we did the first 3 double crochets. You're going to do 3 double crochets, and then you chain 2 and you make a slip stitch. Chain 2 and you slip stitch and cut your yarn. Now when you have your 5 squares, you're going to attach them in a straight line like that. So attach all the 5 squares. So place the 2 squares facing each other on the right side, and then you're going to do on the spaces. You're going to first start with the first slip stitch inside the spaces, and then now you're going to do slip stitches. You're going to work in slip stitches. after the last slip stitch of the chain space, we're going to chain one. So because I want, if you can just cut your yarn, attach here, cut your yarn, attach here. But if you don't feel like attaching, cutting your yarn, you can do slip stitches until you get to this point, and then you slip stitch, slip stitches until you get to this point, and then you slip stitch. So I'm just going to use slip stitches for me to move, as a way of moving to the next line. Now when you get to the very edge, now we're here. So you're also going to place the right sides facing each other, and then we work again, slip stitches across. So when you get here, again you do the same thing. You just move, you come here, slip stitches, move, you come here, slip stitches, until you just have a straight line that is connected. So I've already connected mine, so I'm going to take the upper part of your hat. So this inner side, you're going to have this, they said that you slip stitch on the inner side, and then the outer side is going to face the same as the outer side, which is the right side of this granny squares. So it's supposed to go around like this. Okay, so what you're going to do here again, you're going to determine how many stitches you have at the end of this. So me, I had 72 stitches and I have 5 granny squares. So that means each granny square is going to take about 14 stitches each. So if you're like a beginner, you can take stitch markers and mark after every 14. You mark with a stitch marker, depending on the number of stitches you have. After that number of stitches, you're going to divide, mark with a stitch marker, so that you don't have excess stitches on one or less stitches on the other. So after you've marked, what you're going to do, you're going to have the first square where you're going to start the first stitch. If you're attaching your stitch, attach your stitch on one of the stitches in the hat, and then this is your first square here. So let me attach like that. We're going to insert inside that space and inside that first stitch like that. So you're going to make single crochets. Don't make them so tight, just loose single crochets like that. So you're going to make single crochets all around. Make sure you use stitch markers if you're not sure about counting these stitches on the hat. So I've done that last stitch of that square in the space. Now you go to the next space. You start from the next space there. So it is just that simple. You're just going to connect the squares until this last square comes in the same point as the first square. So I've already attached the squares. So now you're going to start our work from here. You're going to attach here until you get down here, and then you're going to work on the outer part of it. We're going to do the edging and also going to do the brim. So you're going to first connect here. After you finish, you're going to turn your hat to the right side, and then you're going to first work single crochet. So you do 1 single crochet in every stitch all round, just to give it a shape first, and then after that on the wavy part you're going to work with double crochets. So when you get to where you have the chain 2 spaces, you do 1 single crochet. One single crochet in every stitch. After doing the single crochets in every stitch, you're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch. One double crochet in every stitch all round. After the double crochet row, you're going to chain 3 again, and then on the next row you're going to do an increase in every stitch. So 2 double crochets in every stitch. So increase in every stitch all round. You increase until again you come back to the same point. So when you're done with that row of increase, on the next row you're going to do 2 double crochets, and then you do an increase. So you do, that is 1, 2 double crochets, and then you make an increase, and then 1, the next one 2 double crochets, and then you work an increase in the next row, in the next stitch I mean. So you do 2 double crochets and an increase all the way around. So this is how the waves look. So we're going to add more rows just to give it a length. In the last 2 rows that I'm going to do, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. We're not going to increase anymore. We're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So go into each and every stitch with a single crochet for this row and the next row. If you want it to be longer, you can add another row after the second row. So 1 single crochet in every stitch for this row and the next one. So when you're done with one single crochet in this row and the other one, our heart will be done.